A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 24th day of February 2025. Well, just looking at what else is there besides sports conversations that we are going to be having. Well, they are keeping up with Barry preparations for the former chairman of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, the late Josh Chebukati. The family will be giving a brief today. And also, there is a Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, is attending the UN conference in Geneva. That's a story that we're going to look at from the international front. So part of that, and also remember, House committees are meeting. Today is not a day when they go to the chambers and pass legislation, talk about the bills that have been presented to the floor of the Senate and the National Assembly, but the various committees are going to be having meetings, and our parliamentary team is going to be at Parliament buildings and giving us reports on those. Part of the news cycle that we've got for you right here on KBC Channel 1. Sports-wise, we're going to be having three conversations. One, the role of psychology in sports. What is it all about for individual athletes, team athletes, and also for those who serve in technical benches? And also we're going to be having a conversation about foot volley. Think of volleyball played in the format of beach volleyball. So that's a conversation. But now let's start with one for people who are not afraid of water that is in excess of the capacity of a pail. Swimming, that's the language people here use. Maji kizidi ya karai sikaribi. But let's talk about it, and it is all about World Masters Swimming Championships. Kenya held a Masters event, and so let's get to know what this is all about. In studio with me, I've got Jacqueline Mashari here from Assistant Secretary Kiambu Aquatics. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we've got Nongo, who's the chair of Moranga Aquatics.
Welcome, sir.
Now, I'm just looking at the two of you, and the surprising thing is, these medals that she has, she won over the weekend, right?
Yes.
For the Masters. Because the first thing I want to ask is, what's this age grade for Masters? I look at it from the athletics perspective. For women, minimum age is 35. I think when it comes to road running, and 40 for the men. So what about swimming?
Swimming is very interesting when it comes to the Masters. The Masters is beginning at age 25 years and above, such that you're swimming according to your age categories. They are divided according to the World Aquatics Guidance, every 5-year age group. So 25 years to 30 years, 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 35 to 39, 40 to 44, like that, all the way up, depending on how many age categories you have or the participants who are there.
Very interesting, because I'm trying to think if Charlie Claw, who is an Olympian, he's one of the best we've had from the continent and in the world, that means he's eligible to compete. So how do you try and make that balance such that there is the aspect of bringing in the who are older?
Okay.
Such that, you know, people don't say you can go take the best in the world just because they meet the criteria.
Okay. Let me maybe start by acknowledging the efforts that the National Federation has been able to do all through. I got into the world of swimming a while back in my campus years. And I remember there used to be, from time to time, a Masters Gala that was mainly organized within Nairobi County only. And sometimes you'd find maybe, 10 swimmers, 20 swimmers only. And most of them were the coaches and the lifeguards. No other swimmers would usually get the courage to come back into the field of swimming because maybe you're struggling or unajikakamua na mashughuli za dunia, adulting. But then let me talk about the first time that master swimming started getting traction was in 2021. I remember a group of a technical committee that came up. I think it started in Kiambu County, the time I really heard much about it. So in the first week of December that they called upon master swimmers and they said, okay, 25 years and above, you can swim. Can you finish a length? Can you swim according to the strokes, the stroke technique rules? Then come. and we have some
And a
fun.
length being minimum 20?
So a standard pool is either a short course, that is 25 meters, or a long course, 50 meters. But when we started, it wasn't standard, because the whole idea was to bring back the adults. Adults are fearful, especially of the distance. Will I finish? Will I be able to? Oh, my bones and all that. So we started with a 17-meter pool. And it was more towards bringing the enthusiasm back into the swimming fraternity, that the adults felt that, oh, we can do it.
Which meant that probably that was in a private establishment. 17.
Thank you, yes. That was a private heated pool, because some adults are really fearful of cold water, interestingly. But yeah, that's where we started. And then we had another one in 2022. Actually, we had two in 2022, in April and December again. And then we saw, okay, so a lot of swimmers, a lot of adults who are willing to take part in the event for their enjoyment, they are willing to make time in, at the end of the year. So we started doing it annually. So 2023 was there. 2024 last year, it was there. But now by 2023 end, the December, it had a lot of swimmers. When we started in 2021, it had about 42, 46 swimmers from all over the place. Some people from Uasin Gishu, some people from Laikipia, they came to take part, even in Machakos County. And then in 2023, we had a total of about 150 swimmers from even Nakuru, and even counties that you thought that maybe they'd not be able to make it. And then the national...
An example, a county that people would ignore?
Usually, counties that are, interestingly, counties that are closer to Nairobi are more enthusiastic, or are more open to the idea of swimming.
Okay.
The farther away you go, then the more you will not necessarily closely find adults. I'm talking about adults mainly. The farther away you are from Nairobi, you know. But then from that time, based on the 2023 Masters that was organized by Kiambu Aquatics, then we found swimmers from Nakuru, swimmers from Mombasa, Uasin Gishu, Laikipia, Kisumu. There's even some representatives from Nyeri, from Meru. Now people started coming together. And then Kenya Aquatics now came, that is the National Federation, now to look into, okay, so there's this traction, so what do we do? Then that's when the National Masters came to be in 2024 as the first one. And then there was this one that was organized this year, that they decided to keep it annually also at the very early part of the year. So this was the second one.
Very well, Jacqueline. Let me come to you, Joseph. You know, trying to get, for a generation, if you're looking at people who are over 45, 50, and those who grew outside of Nairobi or didn't have the luxury of having a pool in their schools, then the original place where they learned to swim was the river. But as adulthood comes, they move away from that. Just how do you work to ensure that people get back to the sport?
Well, like for the question, but more important that I also want to commend her for being the lead for Masters, and to honor that we had international, foreigners coming. We had Tanzania, we had Uganda, and of the latest we had Malaysia. They were here, they did participate. But back home, I personally from Muranga, I'm a master swimmer. It's only that I did not participate on this one. That's why you see my table is a bit empty.
She has her blings.
Yeah, but she can assure you the last Gala, I have big. Now I swim under in the 64 years category. That swimmer at that age. And you find that what's happening now in Muranga, what we are doing is basic swimming. Learn to swim and safety. Learn to swim and safety. Then really catch up with counties like Nairobi and Kiambu. Of course, they are reading because of proximity with the facilities. Of late now, we were represented in last Masters by Muranga University. They look like Professor Muredi. He was swimming about 55 years. I didn't make it. In the last swimming there at Porterhouse, that was in Porterhouse. So Muranga was there. So what I'm doing is I bring them on board. Okay. That the challenges I have in my county is that the facilities. One, first let me appreciate and commend the Vidlambi community. That's the Shah community, the Sari guy. They did put a short course Olympic pool at Muranga, at the middle of the bus there. you're going to find...
At the middle of the bus?
Yeah, the bus stop there. There's a pool called with Vidulamji. They donated to the community and is under the school, Vidulamji community. So both high school and secondary school, we're having a pool there. We had our last Gara, our first Gara there in February, our very first one in Muranga County on 8th. We had over 7 teams, 5 schools, some coming over from Kiambu. So I appreciate the leadership of Mr. Joseph Garoya, the principal. He almost gave us free. So what's the idea here? We're keeping each and every kid in Muranga afloat. Where do you get these facilities for training? Dakaini Dam, Madhya River, that's where Mr. Wahome people are riding away from. So you're getting them from the river into the pools. Our next Gara will be coming next week, sorry, next weekend, 8th of March. This will be at ACK Memorial. Memorial borders Kimbu and Muranga County. Where do you find ACK Memorial? Just after Blue Post. That's where the boundaries are. I want to say thank you to Mr. Gishoke, the principal, ACK Memorial. He has taken over the assistance to have those facilities. However, I want big appreciation for the Kenya Aquatics led by the president, Madam Maureen Owiti. They are really into this, that they've delivered, and we also say thank you. More on that, we have like, if you get on board other institutions like, look at the KDF.
Yes.
With the best facility around at Urizi Complex. I was on encouraged, my background is from the KDF. I did KDF for 24 years and I'm a physical training instructor. That's how I got my swimming. Now I left the KDF. Dr. Maureen Owit, we need to tell people what this office is doing. They are really into it, giving people that chance. As the devolution goes now you have Muranga. If you get the KDF on board, you see the police guys coming in, like the police bullet, you have Urinzi, you have the Red Barret. When these institutions get on board, sure enough, the devolution will go. Because where do we learn for the rescue and disaster stuff? To those institutions.
Yes, their training involves that.
Yep. So if we run into KDF for rescue and disaster, we go to the police for disaster and stuff, definitely when we bring these guys on board, we'll see a different change of running aquatics. So thank you, Madam Maureen, the Deputy President, Mr. Kabero, and the entire KEC. At Urenzi, we have a 50-meter pool. Of it, we had a visit with Dr. Maureen, and I'm sure they promised us. Most likely it might be ready by August because we'll soon be having our, is it level 3? African Championship level 3, zone 3. And that is one of the facilities we are looking at.
Because the other 50-meter pool we have is Kasarani.
Kasarani. Now is short of some measurements.
It's 49.
9. We can do.
You know.
And the challenges we have in Kasarani, you know. So if you have Urizi complex, see, where's the athletic going? Where's football? CAF? Is it Chan? Chan is going to Ulinzi. Why? That's a discipline force. You never mess around with those facilities. So if you have aquatic on board with such facility, you are good to go, Mr. Holly.
Very well. Let's now, basically look at this, the age band. He's mentioned he's in the 60 to 64 class.
Age category, yeah.
And you listen to. You don't ask ladies how old.
Komoyo mkujufu.
Yeah, I mean your band.
Yeah.
You can use that letter, actually. But okay, it's already here.
It's already here. It's fine.
It's known as category B, so you can do that little bit of homework. So just take a look at the age bands that we have so far from those who are competing over the weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so interestingly, the younger you are in sports, the more energetic you are. The more your muscle form is intact, it has more energy. The muscle twitch, the twitch muscles that we talk about, twitch muscles, it's easier for you to move faster when you're younger. The older you get, it gets a little more challenging unless you have been keeping a fitness schedule that you are ensuring your diet, your exercising and all that, even in your mental state. So of course, you're going to find that the younger swimmers are faster than the older swimmers. But when it comes to masters, it's slightly different, because you'd find in my age category, somebody who is in an older age category could be even faster than me. Possibly they have been training more than I have. So, and this comes with a lot of challenges that go on masters. As masters, most of them are parents. 99%, some of them are grandparents, some of them are possibly great-grandparents by now. So to even find time with your adulting, with adulting we talk of the parenthood, at work, the economy. So you're finding time to look for money, and now finding your time to do the exercise may not be as easy. The pools are not readily available. Let's say, for example, you come to work at, maybe you're supposed to be at work by 8. Now there's traffic jam, so you have to leave home by 6, maybe, depending on your route. So you have gone at 6, left the house. By the time you get back home, it's at 7. The lunch break that you have is possibly an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And around you, there is no pool around you. So what do? The time that you can find is possibly earlier in the morning, or maybe that 30 minutes lunch break. That means you either skip lunch or then in the evening. Which pools are open at that time? Very few. And those are some of the challenges. For you to be a master's swimmer, that I am, and I have been for a while, I'm very passionate about it, it takes a lot of sacrifice. So for you to see even swimmers swimming very fast in their older categories, it's not easy. It's a lot of sacrifice, and we applaud the swimmers for that.
Actually, no, because you're mentioning that, the whole thing is, what's the approach for, reaching out to the first? He says, there's the community actually gave them a pool right in the heart of Murang'a town.
Yeah.
Talk about Kiambu, because that's the place where you've got the proximity now.
So let me start from, when it comes to swimming competitions, it starts from a younger age.
Yes.
We have swimmers from as young as even 5 years old who go for competitions, depending on the kind of competitions they go to, because we have development galas, not under the jurisdiction necessarily of county associations, for example, the one I serve in. And the development galas are those that you use the noodles and the kickboards, the training aids when you're competing. And then we have now the county association galas that are sanctioned by the National Federation, Kenya Aquatics. So for you to take part in a gala, there has to be a swimming pool. Does the federation or association own a swimming pool?
No.
Not yet. So what do? You go to request to host a gala, mostly in a space where it would be the society would not have an issue, let me put quote unquote, will have an issue to have their children there. So in most cases, it's a what? An institution. So where are these institutions that have these swimming pools? You have to look for the standard swimming pool. Standard swimming pool is at least the short course. Those are the majority of swimming competitions. They are held in standard swimming pools, the 25-meter pools. So as you look at the 25-meter pool, you also look at how many lanes does it have, and that means how wide is it and how shallow is it for the sake of diving, so that somebody does not dive and hit their head or break their teeth or something as they are diving. So those kind of pools, there are not many. Most pools you'll find they are in international institutions. Are they for free?
Nope.
Nope. So you have to, most of the time, hire out. So you request to hire, to pay them, so that then they can allow you to have your kids and your gala there. Some of the challenges now come in with the bit of access, because when you have a swimming competition, you want a space where swimmers can compete. There has to be washrooms that are very clean and sanitary. You have to have space for people to sit, because now parents come in to watch their children swim. There's also the space for the officiating, because we have judges, we have stroke judges, we have timekeepers, we have the referee, we have the competition secretariats that we call them the pool deck officials. So if you don't have that space, then that becomes harder for you to host a gala there. So now, even the number of pools that you can host galas in, they have shrunk even more. So now those are some of the challenges when it comes to hosting galas that come in. Yeah.
Very interesting. And when you, depth of a pool required for proper competition?
So when you're coming to the side where you're supposed to dive, at least 1.3 meters. So that then you can have, as a swimmer, there is a way you're supposed to dive, whether it's shallow or deep. But now for the safety purposes, at least 1.3 meters and going downwards, so 1.4 and the rest.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about, getting someone to understand the different strokes, Joseph. Let's start with the freestyle and how it is judged, at this level. Because, like she mentioned, twitch muscles and everything, it may not be as perfect as maybe a world-class swimmer.
Freestyle. It's
Let's
free.
start with that.
Free. Freestyle is free. So, but you must get there to the start and the finish. But how do you go free? Most likely, if I demonstrate my heart, you dive in, then use your hearts. But the technical parts, we as coaches, what am I emphasizing on? The streamline, the bubbling, the glide, and the time. So you must make sure you touch from wall to wall, and that's free. But how gonna win? If it is free, you may be walking, but will you ever win? You can't. So that's freestyle. But the basic demonstration is dive in, have a streamline, pull use your hearts. Most likely we go more into technical detail, a high elbow, there's that catch, and the glide and kick. That's freestyle from the wall to wall. But before we go for the next question, I want to do to follow up on the question you asked, Jackie, about for psychology and support. We are running a program on PSS.
Yes.
Personally, I'm a counselor in PSS. That's psychosocial support and the concept of working with traumatized children. Now I want to bring on board what we Kenya Aquatic and the Special Olympics, have we ever really got into that? How do these kids swim, autism, intellectual challenge? So we have a program which will start soon, and we already had one kid from Mugumweni. I used to be in Kiambu, and there's a public school called Mugumweni with special kids unit, and we have one boy called Mwangi Davis. He'll be going to German with a special category. So the psychology part, what are we looking at? Where are these kids? Where are the APDK, physically disabled? Yes. Where are these teams as far as swimming is concerned? We need to go into that. So we have taught them about freestyle, but more I emphasize of safety, run to swim, and safety before you get to the next level. But I hope I've answered your freestyle question.
Yes, okay, freestyle comes in through. But because you've also mentioned that, therapeutic use for swimming. Some of the people, I got to see in the story that Barclay did for us on Saturday, was that there are people who are recovering from strokes.
Yeah.
Very.
Or maybe hypertension. What's the therapeutic way of, for swimming, especially for those who are over 40, 45, 50?
Yeah, if you go to the physician's record, they recommend those age to swimming. My part, I'm 64. It's a hydrotherapy kind of approach. The most important thing is the mental preparedness, the mental alertness, because one thing, anytime I'll rest in peace if I don't make this good. So the more kicks, the more floats, of course with the guidance of the coach. That is the part. And it is practical, then expressing it sometimes is a challenge because it's the therapy, it's the hydrotherapy, and that's it. We are running programs like before and after classes. So those who are able to make before work, hit the pool, after work, hit the pool. Where do you find those facilities? In Muranga, that's the only place we have. In Kiambu, I'm sure She's learning a program at her pool. That's where she trains. Those before and after is what you bring in people. But the psychology part is a PSS, psychosocial support, to anybody, kids and their age.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
For the children and those who are elderly?
Yep.
And then get them support and all. And, you know, a lot of hydrotherapy. I see even athletes who are in recovery.
They use the pool.
They use the pool to help them get back, you know, movement and all of that. You know, trying to resist the water to get them their strength back. And let me come now to breaststroke not the breaststroke. Actually, I think one of the most technical ones, butterfly.
And she's the best in butterfly. I can tell you she's the best. I think some of these men
Okay, sawa tuambie sasa.
should be a medal for butterfly here.
Okay, yes. So which is the one for butterfly? I'm sure you'd identify.
One of the silvers.
Yes.
One of the silvers here is a butterfly one. Yeah.
Just give us how, you know, we look at butterfly and it's very, very technical. There is a way you're supposed to move. Just describe that from, you know, from what you'd say normal competition and how different it is at master's level.
Okay. For me, whenever I'm coaching, being a coach, and whenever I'm trying to swim it, the easiest way of putting it, you cannot swim butterfly to a layman language. You cannot swim butterfly without a wave. If you don't have a wave, you don't have a butterfly. You have something totally different, which is very hard to swim and very tiring. Sometimes you'll find even back aches when you're doing it. So ideally, with your wave, you dive in, you dive out. You dive in, you dive out. And that's the easiest way of putting it. If I go now into the technical bit of breaking it down, now it becomes more technical. But ideally, with a wave, you're diving in with a wave, dive out with a wave, like that. Yeah.
Foot movement. Where is the difference?
Yes.
Well, actually, for the legs.
For the legs, okay. So as you're swimming butterfly, your legs have to be together. When I coach, especially my kids, I usually tell them, because you're trying to swim like a dolphin, does a dolphin have legs? No. So you have to put your legs together to pretend that you have a fin. So the leg movements needs to be at the same time and together, not apart. So together. So legs together, and they are going at the same time. So as you dive in, legs are going up naturally. Even if you try right now in the pool, you'll want to dive in, your body, your chest goes down, your legs come up. When you're diving out, what happens? Legs go down. You dive in, legs come up. You dive out, legs go down. It's very natural when you try it. It's more natural when you try it than when you explain it. But ideally, dive in, dive out. Yeah.
So, and at this point, it's at the master's level where, I mean, with time, they give you a little bit of leeway with kicking movement.
No. What do you mean by the leeway?
I mean, because when I was looking at it, you know, just going through this, in the butterfly, you know, there is how they, for example, try to kick in the breaststroke.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, master's level versus swimming when you're young, the stroke rules do not change. So it's just that you being a master's swimmer, you need to be more aware of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how more efficient you can make it. So it is expected that as a master swimmer, your efficiency levels in your stroke is much higher than these young swimmers, you see. So yes, there is no leeway.
A leeway for that.
You will get a DQ, disqualification. You will get a DQ if you do flutter kicks. For example, you've seen people swim butterfly and the legs go apart and then one foot hits the water before the other. So it's pattern, alternating kicks. That's a disqualification. They need to be at the same time, whether you're young or old.
Now the thing is, Joseph, now, preparing for this, and also the standards that have been set, so each one of you can contribute to this. You know, you have got all these swimmers who come in, you have your Masters Gala, and you're now prepared and preparing for the World event that's going to be in Singapore. What's there for the next 4 or 5 months as people build up to this and see how you can get more masters swimmers qualified?
Well, with the solid leadership of the Kenya Aquatics, and of course you people coming in, because you're telling them, wow, what are we doing? This is what we are doing in the Kenya Aquatics. That's a budget sale. We got budget allocation. The knock is coming in. Like if I'm with Jackie and I'm the coach for Jackie and she's going to Singapore, and for sure I know she qualified, she's going for that's no time issue. She should be in Singapore. Now you can imagine the preparation, the Kenya Aquatics input, the budget allocation, the request, the training pattern. So I'm preparing Jack now to represent Kenya as a master aquatic champion. So the budget and the government coming in to recognize masters as part of their sports budget. So my take is knock is coming in through the Kenya Aquatics leadership. Definitely we are putting up a team. Hopefully that will be soon. And then we have ample time of training with the correct facilities and ease of access to the government aquatic facilities. That's my take. So I'm sure the Kenya Aquatics are ready for that.
Let's talk about Jacqueline, to you. Building up to this, you are a coach, you've got the the advantage of being in the boat all around, but he's mentioned something, getting a proper competition pulled up, because I know if you go to Singapore, you'll do the 50 meter.
Yes, it's a long course.
So he's mentioned, we are talking about Ulinzi and Kasarani. Tell us about accessing these two places.
So let me talk on 2 fronts. The first one, it's the individual one, whereby once you are notified, by now I know a few individuals have been selected based on the qualifying times. So let me start from maybe the beginning. Singapore, that is coming up, is it May, July? July.
End of July.
End of July. The swimmers who are going to go, they must have met a qualifying time. So they must be swimming faster, or they must have swum faster than those times to make it. And I know it's less than 10 individuals who have been selected. The Kenya Aquatics will be able to give us those numbers, and we'll be able to tell the individuals. So once you have been notified that you have qualified, it starts from you as the individual. Being a master's swimmer, you have your schedules, your daily schedule, daily routine. So what can you do to make sure that you're mentally prepared, that you're physically prepared, and you have the competition fitness in readiness for it? So you as an individual have to make time for yourself, your own individual training. Then there is the second front. As Kenya Aquatics, once they have been able to round up the team that is qualified to take part in the event, they're going to get a head coach, they're going to get a team manager. And then they're going to pull these individuals together and create a training schedule for them, now as a team. And once they do that, they'll be doing it so often in readiness for the Singapore. And then now the other things come in terms of the logistics and all that. I need to mention that aside from Singapore, that has the qualifying times, based on the Masters Championship that we just had this weekend, there's also going to be a Tanzania Masters sometime in May. The Masters, they call themselves Tanzanites. The Tanzanites had mentioned that they wanted to invite Kenya for a Masters Championship in May. And aside from that, we always have these corporate Masters Championships, the inter-banks and inter-insurance. And then now leading up to now the end of the year that Kiambu always has, the annual Masters Gala that is likely to be the end of November there, but the date will be communicated. So all this depends. For those Singapore, they start now. For those preparing for the Tanzania, because I doubt that the Tanzania, I don't think it will have qualifying times. When it doesn't have qualifying times, as many as can be can go. So you start preparing there.
Okay. So, yeah, wanted to come, because you've mentioned that in the case of that, and Joseph will come to, because we need to look at it from the international point. If you have an event, for example, the Nairobi event, was there a base,
A qualifying time.
a qualifying or an entry standard?
For this Masters, no, there was no qualifying
open.
times. It was open so long as you know the rules of the strokes and you are 25 years and over. If you remember now, there's the 81-year-old. That was the oldest that we had in this particular gala. So it doesn't matter how old you are, so long as you know how to swim the strokes in the correct technique, then it was open.
Let's talk about the region, and we easily know that probably South Africa, Tunisia, Morocco, and that would pick up this level of sport quite big. And she's mentioned Tanzania. How do you see master swimming around the region, or even if we were to speak about our zone 3, for swimming zone 3, where you bring in Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Botswana, those who are around us.
We are the top, man. And I want to give you a sure bet that the level we are going, or the direction we are taking, the traction, we are the top. Now you see, you are example now Tanzanians are inviting us for. It is the quality of swimming they have found here. Uganda, last year she was in Uganda. It's the quality of swimming currently in Kenya. The only challenge may be we will find ourselves at the level of when we are doing zone 3, because it will be here. And that's how they are going really to do, it's a yardstick on where we are.
Yes.
But currently, in East and Central, we are the best. However, with the input of those facilities and equipment, the corporates coming in, we will be the best. Now look at the military games, for example. Did they have swimming? No. Did not they have swimming?
But the 2002 military games had swimming. When Kenya hosted it.
Yes.
But the Abuja games didn't have swimming.
Yeah, they did not have swimming. Who are the best swimmers in Kenya? KDF. Look at them, Tongo base. The divers. Where are these guys? These are the guys now we want to put in place. Okay, Kenya Navy had a rowing team, It's used to do in Sagana. That's another area. It's all related to the aquatic. So when we put these guys into the arena, definitely are going to get the best swimmer. Back then when I was in the forces, our best diver by then, 90s, was a called Lamako. He was a Turkana guy. What's happening around Lake Turkana? We need to get these guys on board. And by this, let me appreciate the county bosses, governors, like we got Kajiado. They are coming very strong with seahorses. We have, Machakos. That's the sea of Machakos.
Yeah.
Look at Washingisho, how he's coming in Illinois. Kakamega is on board. Vihiga, Busia is coming. Look at Kisumu, it's coming up. So, Kiambu, we, being the young kid in the block, definitely we are going to get there. When devolution goes out, then we are going to have the best. Maybe from Muranga County, I'm going to have 4 or 5 Jackies.
Very well. So, Jackie, and now as you your next few months, because we're coming to the end of this session, getting ready for the next few months. And anybody who would like to up their game, how should they get it? Because there are probably people who swim somewhere, but how they may want to reach out to you and say, let's compete, let's train together and see if I can make it to Singapore.
Yeah, sure. The kind of preparation has a lot to do with, as I said, for Masters Championships, it has to be very intrinsic. It has to come from you. Nobody can come and tell you, Jackie, no, you are going to do this. And I said, because we don't deal with adults the same way. It has to come from you. You have to make the time for training. You can be able to reach us. For example, I serve within the Harpoons, for example. There are many other clubs and teams that are there. And you can be able to always reach out to either, if you don't know what's near you, you can ask your county association, or you can even reach out to Kenya Aquatics. But for example, for the harpoons, because we are all over, there are many swimmers all over, always get in touch with a coach. A coach will help to guide you because they can see what you're doing. You're concentrating on how it feels, but a coach will look at it and say, no, 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 no. It might feel okay to you, but no, there is a more efficient way of doing it. There is a better way. And to be able to push you, we all need to have some assistance. So when you do that from you, then you can be able to get assistance from outside.
You kept mentioning one thing, safety in the water. Just close with that. Safety in the water.
Water safety. What data do you have on the drone cases? Those who succumb to this. What's the data we have in this country? Disaster management. What are the county guys doing? What are they doing as far as safety is concerned? Now, my point here, what I'm driving home is, each and every school in Murang'a County will have an opportunity to learn to swim, and safety. We have pushed to a point that we are giving free coaching to schools so long you access a pool. My coaches and my entire committee and the coaches in Murang'a, we have volunteered to make sure whenever a team or kids are going to any pool, we are going to make sure that there is a coach keeping watch from our federation, certified lifeguards. So we are calling upon those facilities, hotels, pool, whoever you're employing, kindly have a background check of who you're putting on to that pool. That's where you're losing big time. Now CBC is on. We have gone to the CBC classes. We're also giving lectures, classes, sessions into CBC classes. And for your information, we are going to have a junior championship coming very soon, in 2 weeks' time. So teams are really preparing, and we are going to have a big record for schools who did not participate last year. And also, Murang'a, I'm hosting the regional competition for JS competition. Nationals will be in Mombasa. Next time, I'm going to tell you about breaststroke. You never asked about the breaststroke.
We'll talk about the breaststroke.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Joseph Ndungu is the chair of Murang'a Aquatics, and
Jacqueline Masharia.
Jacqueline Masharia, you share a name with our colleague. By the way.
Is it?
Yes.
Could I just say something, just very, very briefly? It's always good, maybe a call to parents. It's always good to start coaching very, very early, because then you get the opportunities to help them grow, and as they grow, then they can take up even the Masters Swimming Championships. And as we speak now, there is now an upcoming Level 2 Swimming Championship that will be at Regis Runda Academy, hosted by Kiambu Aquatics. It is on date 1 and date 2 this coming weekend. And it's a Level 2 now with qualifying times. But now you see, if you don't start the kids early, they don't get the courage to go on into the Masters.
Thank you very much. She's the Assistant Secretary, Kiambu Aquatics, and also won 7 medals in the Master Swimming Championships over the weekend. We take a short break, and as we get the story of Roy Mutimba, and next, let's get to speak about foot volleyball. Just to put it simply, playing beach volleyball. Think of the whole concept of beach volleyball, but this time, no hands involved, no goalkeeper involved, all that coming up with the founder of the sport, Mercy Mwasa.